Greetings and welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to episode 434 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly gaming podcast for Words About Games. I'm one of your hosts, Amy K. Alexander. I'm joined this week by the 3-star champ himself. It's Mr. Daffin Moody.
Konnichiwa, David Dest. Dozo Ryosku.
Awesome.
Hello, everyone. I'm David.
Still
nice to meet you all. I'm still alive. No, I hope everyone is well. It's Friday. You know what that means. It's video game day, the holiest day. You know what to do. Go out and play some video games. And it's our last episode for the year of 2024.
Yeah, thanks for the carry at the end. Yeah, we're shutting it down.
We're done. Fuck it. 2024, we're out.
There you go.
Maybe play some of the games that we talk about today. Here we kind of like
I played nothing except Pokemon.
That's not true. And I have the receipts. We're also joined by the only boy himself. It's Fitz Patel.
Howdy doodly do, everybody. Happy holidays, whatever you happen to be celebrating. And yeah, hope you're getting through this festive time. I appreciate it could be tough on many of us. Families can be a blessing and indeed a curse. So whatever you're going through, I hope that you pull through. And things like this help pass the time.
That's all we're trying to do. Pass the time.
That's it. Yeah, indeed. But yeah, it's been good. How are we all doing, friends?
Yeah, hunky dory. Hanging in there.
There we go.
Can't ask for much more, I guess.
I'm fine.
How are you, sir?
Yeah, doing good. Had some really decent movement on Pixel Pop Stars. So I think our roster is locked in for our season 1. We're shaping up to have 3 episodes and then a grand finale in that. So that'll be coming to your ears and eyes early next year. We're going to put a date on that. We're going to see what people's availabilities are. But yeah, I'm very excited, and we've been putting through stuff. Played an amazing game of D&D on Sunday, and this was a crossover episode with the party I typically play with, another party also done by the same DM, and we had a kind of crossover episode, and now we're going to have like a new campaign with these characters going forwards into the new year. So that was really amazing. So yeah, it's been a good week.
Yeah, I like a good week.
Mm-hmm.
I like hearing that.
Very good, very good.
I'm stalling because I'm like, what did I do this week?
What did I do?
You ate a bit, I imagine.
Did
you
I
drank a
sleep
little bit.
this week? Because I don't know. I can't remember doing anything particularly specific. Apart from this morning when I was stood outside the CEX like this against the glass.
Looking at retro consoles.
Looking at Dreamcasts. Almost made a very financially irresponsible decision today.
When have you not done that before?
Today, I didn't buy it.
Sometimes the best ones.
I didn't buy it. I was very happy I wasn't with either of you guys, because you'd have been like, yeah, you can get that. You've got the money in your bank account right now. You could definitely buy it.
Dear listener, if you haven't heard, I'm an enabler, a self-confessed enabler. But yeah, I will get them to swipe the card. Don't you worry.
Swipe the card.
It's a holiday season, doesn't count. I'm not sure if you've heard.
When we went shopping, when it was all 3 of us, when Lolly Fox was there as well, we wandered around, we had a look, we had some PS1 games. Fitz was like, oh yeah, you could get that. Oh yeah, you could get that. Like anything I had a passing interest in.
You can get this, and you can get that.
You should buy that, and you should buy that. And
exactly.
about a third of the way around the store, I very, very subtly just detached from them and went to a different part of the shop, because I don't think my bank account would have been able to handle going around the whole shop with them. Especially after I saw that copy of Persona 4 behind the till, and I was like, can't let them see that.
Teddy needs your help.
But I already have Persona 4. I just never played it.
It doesn't matter.
I've got it at home. I've got Persona 4 at home, and that's not a meme. It's the actual Persona 4.
It's like the Waylon Smith thing, but now it's on PS2. We need it. It doesn't matter.
But now you can play it in standard definition.
Exactly.
I did try Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I don't know if I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to give it another like half hour to an hour. See if it's like if the vibes are right. But it's like I plugged my Switch into the big TV, my new big TV for the first time, and I was playing, and like it didn't become immediately apparent because the first 30 minutes of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is basically all cutscenes.
Yep.
With like
With a lot done, yeah.
a few minutes of gameplay. But when it finally like dropped me in and I was playing and I'm running around, I was like, oh my god, like this player's like shit. And I'm like doing the things. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, hey, doesn't this have like a, I was like, it's got an 88 on OpenCritic. It's like, I know so many friends who love this game. Why does it play like crap? And then 10 minutes later, I was like, wait, what's my TV set to? And I was like, oh, it's not, it's set on filmmaker mode.
24 frames a second.
No wonder it plays like crap. It's like, I can't believe that's a thing we have to do now. It's like, I have to put it in game optimization mode. It's
Yeah.
like, otherwise,
that's
I just can't play.
Another pro tip to listener: if you're with family for the first time in many months, and maybe they've got a new TV, maybe they pick one up over Black Friday, do them a favor and turn off like any True Motion stuff and stuff like that. It'll come with a bunch of stuff that they don't need as default settings. Go in and fix all that. Each of the different manufacturers handily call it something different. So there'll be True Motion on one side, there'll be Smooth Motion on another. Get rid of all that shit. You don't need it.
Yeah, on LG, it's you turn on filmmaker mode, which is cool because like if you do it on a streaming service, like I don't know if like everything does this. I know Prime did it while I was using Prime. Like it had each show or film has like its own settings, and filmmaker mode just goes to those settings. So like it's like the filmmaker settings,
Yeah.
which is sick. If I'm watching like a DVD, like I busted out my Stargate DVDs and I was watching some Stargate, and it's like it just turns all that shit off. That's what filmmaker mode does. So I'm like, that's the mode for me, but not when I'm playing games, because that sucked.
Speaking of Amazon Prime, tangent, I checked out a few episodes of Secret Level, the new kind of interstitial short series by the people who made Love, Death and Robots. And I believe like Blur Studios, they got on board, and there's a very different video game franchise they touch. I imagine they went to Nintendo, and Nintendo just laughed at them and said, no, you ain't touching anything of that. They're all far too short for me and my sensibilities. So the D&D one, that just about got going, and then the episode ended. The Mega Man one is even more egregious in terms of, right, he just became Mega Man. Now the episode ends. I will say the last episode, which is the one of the ones which are most intriguing to me going into it, which is the PlayStation theme one, where you've got Kratos in a modern day city and things like that, and that is the one that holds the most value for me at the moment. But I've been going through and kind of picking and choosing which episodes to watch, so I haven't seen all of them. Like there's blind spots for me, like Warhammer. I haven't got any clue what's going on, so I probably won't watch that one kind of thing. But
Everyone sucks.
Yeah,
There you go. I just gave you a Warhammer primer.
there you go.
Everyone in Warhammer sucks. That's the premise.
Yeah, there are no redeemable characters in the Warhammer, but yeah. And now the Pac-Man game that was announced recently, that makes a lot more sense because it's based, or at least this secret level episode is a primer to this. So,
like,
yeah,
edgy Pac-Man Metroidvania. It's like it's 2005 again.
yeah.
Like, oh my god, yeah. I saw that announcement. That was a good one. Did you watch the Concord episode?
I did not know. I
watched the Concord episode.
But why?
Because it's the only proof of Concord's existence.
No, all copies have been buried in the desert next to ET.
It's like the ET video game.
Yes. What's old is new again.
It really is the industry. The industry really is crashing.
Yeah, old is gold. That's what I say.
Like I do kind of want to watch the Concord episode just for like historical sake, like like the historical significance of the fact that there's like 12 episodes of this series,
like 15. I want to say
15 episodes of this series. So we can do 15 different games and one of the episodes is Concord. I mean, that is just pure gold to me, as far as I'm concerned. I'm just like, that is the greatest timeline.
Yeah. They've been renewed for a second season, so we'll see what happens there. And
We'll get another one.
Yeah, that's it. Concord returns. Yeah, so we'll see what they come out with and what kind of new IP they'll be able to delve into. Like personally, I think if they dip into some to the Valve franchises, that would be cool. I know we had that short Portal film many years ago by Dan Trachtenberg. I'd like to see something in that vein and just see Shell knocking around doing whatever she's done, because heaven knows we're not going to get a Portal 3. So just any more stories in that universe will do.
My ideal version of like a secret level type anthology show would never exist, because like I don't want them to make episodes about things that are already popular. Like, if that makes sense. Like, if I wanted to watch something like that, and I might watch Secret Level because it does sound interesting, but like, I would want them to make like weird stuff about like weird stuff. It's like, yeah, you can make a Final Fantasy episode, or we could make like a Grandia episode, like a JRPG that hasn't existed for like 25 years. You know, like I would love to see that. That would be cool. Whereas like Final Fantasy episode, I know what I'm getting with a Final Fantasy episode. Like I know what I'm getting with an Armored Core episode. But like, why not call From Software and be like, hey, remember Kingsfield? Let's make a Kingsfield episode. and then you've got me on the hook. I'm in.
There you go.
But I'm a weirdo, so don't base any of these decisions off of me.
If they want to make money, don't listen to Amy.
If you want to be successful, I am not your target audience.
She's the complete fucking opposite.
I mean, I will watch it like 20 times in like 2 weeks, but I don't think that would make up for all of the people you would lose. We should do a podcast. We should do a podcast topic next year where it's like, what would we make? What would our ideal like season of Secret Level be?
Yes. I know mine already.
Just so I can just be like, Dragon Force. You have to make a Dragon Force episode.
There's a mole that goes into Polyphony Digital Studios. They fix Gran Turismo.
The Gran Turismo episode, it's just an apology. It's just a 20-minute apology. Not even like an episode. It's just someone reading an apology about the Gran Turismo film. It's the guy from Stranger Things just being like, we at Polyphony Digital apologize unreservedly.
Kazunori Yamauchi-san just in the deep bow as he's saying all of this.
David Harbour won't be given the toss to be like, I got paid.
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm going to finish the Stranger Things. Bye.
Set for life, baby.
Something like that, yeah. Suck it! Type of thing,
oh no, I work with Zionists now. How did that?
Sometimes you just got to get your head down and get paid.
Sometimes you do have to get that back.
What was it? Was it Chris Evans who said you do one for them and you do one for yourself? So
Yeah,
like you do one.
so,
You do one to get paid, and then you do one for yourself, which is why it's like
one that pays the rent, and then one that fills your soul.
He's Captain America, but then he's also in Snowpiercer.
And he's also in Knives Out.
Yeah.
The thing is that for that, like Snowpiercer is arguably his best performance.
I fucking love Snowpiercer. It's a great film.
Yeah. I had no idea about that movie whatsoever, and I wasn't at the time, and I'll stand by it. At the time, even after the first Captain America, I was like, I'm not a fan of Chris Evans, because I remember Fantastic Four. He was shit. He was shit.
He was a comedy actor. He was in Fantastic Four. He was in like Not Another Teen Movie, which if you've been forced to sit through a lot of teen movies in your life, is a bit cathartic to watch them basically just rip the piss out of all the teen movies. But then he was in that Danny Boyle film, Sunshine. Which
yes he was.
Which it was all right.
I haven't seen it. I can't comment. Yeah,
it was an all right film. Like it wasn't amazing. Like, but Chris Evans was really good in it, and it was like, but he's a comedy actor. But here he's like the male action lead, and it was like, oh wow, like he can do like this stuff. Like he can do this stuff, and then he's Captain America, and everybody was like, you're going to get Johnny Storm to be Captain America? But like the 7 people who had seen Sunshine were like, no, trust me. You can do it. You can do it.
That was all everybody who was that was everybody trying to defend Robert Pattinson becoming Batman. Everyone's complaining. Everyone was complaining. What, the shiny, sparkly man from Twilight?
But
Have you not seen the other films he's been in?
But if you've seen like the Rover,
yes, we
it's
saw
like
Harry Potter.
no. Trust me.
No, not even Harry Potter.
No, like the
Have you seen
Rover.
anything else?
or the Lighthouse. Like if you've seen these weird films that he's done, it's like, no, he's really good. He's really good. Trust me.
Yeah.
And nobody hates Twilight more than Robert Pattinson.
Yeah. The whole crew, the main characters from those films hate the franchise. The ones who basically were just the background family who basically earned their money from that franchise and will just live off it for the rest of their careers because they don't have a fucking career. They're fine. But those two are like, no, we want to try and have a successful career.
I love watching the interviews from around then with like Kirsten Stewart and Robert Pattinson, who are just like, you can tell they know it sucks.
It's the two actors from 50 Shades as well. That's like, fuck, we locked ourselves into a fucking this trilogy. That was literally time of like, all right, I'm getting paid.
That's the I'm getting paid. I'm paying my rent for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
we know
yet she
there's no
still didn't
chemistry
listen
between
because
you
she
two,
went to do Madam Web. She's like, oh shit.
Maybe I should get in on the superhero train.
Spider-Man, I hear he's popular. I'm sure they'll put him in that movie.
Oh, just a weird one. Yeah, but yeah, until stuff is, I was not a fan of Chris Evans whatsoever. And then Winter Soldier happened, and I was just like, all right.
This
all
kid's
right.
got it, yeah.
Yeah. Because how, like, the first Avengers movie, Chris Evans wasn't even the focal point. He was literally pushed at the back of the posters. Yeah. Everyone else was, like, front and center, and he was just like, I'm in the corner looking upwards. And then after that movie, though, everyone was just like, Chris Evans was all right. And then Winter Soldier happened, came out, and it was like, that fucking Chris Evans, he's fucking awesome. And it's like, yeah. I hold my hand up. Yep, I was wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. And then, even though I did not like the first Knives Out, he was really good in it. Like, he was so good in it. What did you make
of Glass Onion?
Oh, he loves Glass Onion. We watched it together.
I enjoy Glass Onion. Knives Out, it just... When the whole reveal happened, like halfway through the movie, it was like, oh god, we're still going. They're still going. That means there's more of a twist, and I already know what's what. And I'm just like, I was done, and I was just like, come on, get fucking moving. And it just, by the time I was just like, finally, we're going home. I can't wait to get home.
Whenever the Knives Out films come up, I feel contractually obligated to ask: Have either of you seen Clue?
Yes.
No.
You should watch Clue. Clue is a very entertaining film.
I haven't seen it for years. I remember seeing it as a kid. I haven't seen it since then.
It's great. So. Tim Curry, it is most Tim Curry.
Even more than Command & Conquer.
Even more than Command & Conquer. Like,
even more than Pennywise.
The energy that Tim Curry brings to the final like 10, 15 minutes of Clue is like I've never seen him match that energy.
that was peak.
That was peak Tim Curry. It's on Paramount Plus. If anyone has Paramount Plus while they've been watching their Star Treks.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Or I have the DVD, but you'd have to come to my house to watch it.
I'll just post it to me.
No.
It might get lost.
Exactly. It's a valuable part of my collection.
I'll just go to CEX and I'll find you a new one. It's fine. And whatnot. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
Or skip that step. Go to CEX and just buy it for yourself and then watch it. It's probably cheap.
Yeah, but that's work.
It's probably cheap. It's from the 80s, so.
Me driving around and I just can't be bothered to do that.
I thought Vitz was gone. He was like, fuck yeah, Tim Curry.
Like,
Tim Curry. I'm in. Let's go.
Let's go. He's texting his partner right now.
We're watching Clue. We're watching Clue.
What are you doing? The podcast? Fuck them.
Amy said Clue is one of the greatest films ever. And to be clear, I didn't say that, but...
But she implied it.
I did imply it.
A little bit of paraphrasing going on.
There's three
paraphrasing between friends.
There's 3 different endings, and you can on the DVD you can select to watch all of them, like back to back to back.
Right.
Or you can hit the button where the DVD picks a random one, so you can get one of the 3 different endings.
Interesting.
But on streaming, then I wonder if it's got a like canon ending.
It probably just does the 3.
Right.
I would have thought on streaming. I don't know. I watched it on, like I said, I watched it on DVD. So
yeah.
Because I'm turning into a boomer. Like when they all got when they all get their record players and all that stuff back out, it's like that's my version of that. Like a millennial boomer. I'm like, I'm getting my DVDs back out. I'm getting my Sega Saturns back out. I'm playing Parasite Eve on my CRT TV, baby.
It's like this.
But instead of talking about old stuff, should we talk about new stuff?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, because this is the final, as Mooney mentioned, the final podcast of 2024, which means it's time to do Game of the Year and wade hip deep into the same topic that literally everybody's talking about. Everybody's talking about this year at the moment. As discussed last week, we're doing it a little bit differently. So we're going to start off. We're each going to give our top number 1 2024 Game of the Year. Once we've done that, we're going to talk about all the rest of the 2024 games that we loved, like our other games of the year. And then after that, we're just going to talk about older games that we played this year. Ones that were new to us and ones that we've replayed.
Hell yeah. Sounds good.
Timestamps in the description, yada, yada, yada. I'll probably put all the games in, so you can just click if you want to see us talk about whatever game you're interested in. We're going to start with Game of the Year 2024. There's 3. Last year, the year before last, we had 1. Last year, we had 2. This year, we got 3.
We had 3 last year.
We had 2. We had Baldur's Gate and we had Vember. That was it.
Oh, shit. Yeah, sorry. My brain. Sorry.
We had the longest game of the year and the shortest game of the year.
Yeah. We did.
This year, all of the games of the year are long.
We've got the opposite this time. We're picking a side. We're picking a lane, and this is the lane we're sticking in.
I put the 3 games in release date order because I thought that makes the most sense. So our first 2024 Game of the Year submitted by the 3-star champ himself, Daffin Moody.
Yeah, the Game of the Year has been out since January, people, and that is Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Ichiban and the crew all coming together, going to Hawaii and everything, and it was just an absolute baller of a time of a game to play throughout when it came out, and I think it takes what greatness that was the Like a Dragon and just goes ballers to the wall with it. I think it improves the combat even more. It brings out characters even more in a better way. Just shows again, like I agree with what Amy says, Ichiban is like arguably one of the greatest protagonists in the last decade. He's so good. He's so enthusiastic, but when he's down, you feel for him at the same time. And he also got all these other characters around him that just help him as well, and you can see what his enthusiasm does to help them, and it just goes away. It goes so well with his character development along with the rest of the crew. You bring in new characters who you were just like, wasn't 200% sure on, but by the end of it, you're just like, you know what, I really like you by the end of it, and it was really good. Brings back one of the Yakuza greats. Remind me of his name, please. Kiryu, please. Yes, thank you. Becomes a full-blown main character in this game where you're playing as two main characters throughout the game and everything, and it does really well. It is like when you're playing as Kirikou, that part is just like, even if you haven't played all the Yakuza games, and I haven't even touched a single one of them, I admit that, I got the feelings, I got the emotions, I got what Kiryu was going through and everything, and it was just so well done. And visually a beautiful, stunning game. And even though I haven't played that much this year. This game is the one that stuck with me throughout, even when I've played new games this year and everything. Even the ones we'll all talk about in our other games that we've played this year or what are new of 2024. This one's the one that stuck with me the most, everything throughout. And it was, yeah, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. It was just such a great game.
Yeah, I was shocked. Like, the thing I was worried about going into Infinite Wealth, and I played Like a Dragon in December, so like right before Infinite Wealth came out.
Yes, yeah, you did.
Was like, oh, I don't know, like Kiryu being like the other protagonist, and like the way the story's set up. I'm not going to do any spoilers. Like with what Kiryu's going through, I was like, I don't know, how I'm going to connect with this character because I've not played the original Yakuza games. So I've my knowledge of Kiryu is he was briefly in like the previous game, and then memes on the internet. Those are the two things like where I'm getting my knowledge from. So for his story, it just still like hit all of the emotional beats and like doing all of his like memory link quests and stuff, and still like getting it. I was like, oh wow, you've done a really good job here because I don't know any of this history, but even I'm still like getting affected emotionally by like all of this stuff. Like that's clearly from being pulled from like previous Yakuza games. So that was cool. The RPG combat mechanics, I said last year, I was like, all they have to do is like just make those a bit better. The game's going to be a banger, and they did that. So I'm really happy.
It's just a couple of fine tweaks that they did, and it just made it a lot better. When it comes to Kiryu, yeah, there's no doubt about it. I think what helps is that writing's great. But what helps it even more, but they also got obviously the previous games to go off to help you. That there's no doubt about it. If you've played the original Yakuza games, I think that'll hit even more home for you for the Kiryu story. But I want to shout out also his new voice actor, Young Yen. Like he did a really good job of voicing Kiryu. I don't know the actor who played him before. I don't know the reasons why they've changed it or separated or whatever. I don't know. But I thought he.
Did they pass away? Or?
They didn't have English voice acting since the first game, I think.
Oh, so he's never been English voice acted before.
I think he was English voice acted in the first game, and I think in Like a Dragon, he had an English voice actor, but he was only in the game for like 5 minutes. So
okay, Young I think does a really, really good job where I'm connecting with Kiryu. His voice really goes along well with the character in general. And yeah, he does a really, really good job. And the characters are just the one thing I always drive to is characters. And if I connect with the characters, that's fantastic. And that will help me get through a slog of a story sometimes on other games and everything. This one was a bit of a slog by the end, I won't lie. But that is a Yakuza, Like a Dragon game. They're long games and they can get a bit tiresome. So sometimes if you need that break, I completely understand. But yeah, the game is a fabulous game. With what helped me was the characters, so it's great.
Hell yeah, yeah. This would have been on my also list for sure. Like I love this game. I was thinking about it. Like I was playing games for months afterwards, and I was like, I kind of wish I was playing Like Dragon. I just want to play Like Dragon again. Like, even though I've done everything. But if I was playing Like a Dragon, I'd be having more fun.
That's what it's all about, having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, I won't lie, what's helping right now, I think what's rejuvenated me even more, just to love this type of franchise even more, is me slowly playing through Judgment right now. I'm loving it. I'm having such a great ball of time right now, and yeah, I'll get more into that one later on. So
yeah, sure. Yeah, I've got Yakuza on my backlog for a list for a reason, because I'm like, I got to do it. I got to pull that band-aid off at some point. So in the next game of the year, which I've heard might be a bit controversial.
When did you become a sellout, Amy? When did you join the Jeff Keighley moving goalposts?
There was money on the table? Oh, fuck. I could have got paid.
Bank details.
Son of a bitch. Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree. Like,
yes.
If we're talking game of the year is like the game that you enjoyed playing the most throughout the year, it was definitely Shadow of the Erdtree. Like, I have as I talked about a couple of weeks ago, I have all the statistics of everything I did in every game I played in 2024. This was one of my most played games. Like, just the expansion. Just talking about the expansion. Like, it's longer than most of the games I played. It does more to iterate on the game that came before it than like some sequels, right? Like Shadow of the Erdtree, and I don't mean to throw shade at one specific game, it's the first game that came to mind, but Shadow of the Erdtree feels like more of a step forward from Elden Ring to me than Forbidden West did to Zero Dawn. Like in terms of
I
like,
agree with that too.
yeah, it's just like the new mechanics, the new setting, like the way the
And your
world.
principal character doesn't say at the start of the game, "Oh, I had all those skills from the first game. Oh, I just forgot how to
Oops,
do
I
all
dropped
all
them."
my equipment. I dropped them." Yeah.
But
But
they
yeah,
get nicked. They got stolen, didn't they?
I don't know. I don't remember. That's the thing. I don't remember. Like I played.
Aloy just said she lost them. That's it.
I played like 15 hours of that game, and I'm like, I don't remember any of it. Except they added the thing from Breath of the Wild,
Yeah,
the
the
paraglider.
glider,
But yeah, no, like the getting a handle on it was obviously tricky. Like even though I'd replayed Elden Ring like before it to go into Shadow of the Erdtree, because like they did a really smart thing, or it's like with previous games like expansions, it's like you roughly know where the player's going to be in terms of like the power curve, in terms of like their level and like upgrades and abilities. But with Elden Ring, it's like it's an open world game, right? So like so someone could be like rocking at this level at like level 300, and it's like, well, how do you account for that? You reset it back to 0 by including like the shadow tree, the scatter tree fragments and the revered. So you have to find these items to power yourself up to take on the DLC, which I thought was really clever because it rewards curiosity, which is, I think, one of the main reasons that I loved Elden Ring so much. It's like, oh, what's over here? Oh, what's over this hill? Oh, what's down here? Like, if you explore, you'll find more of these fragments, and you'll have an easier time with the DLC. If you just beeline the main story path, you're going to have a harder time with the DLC. I thought it was a really good way to sort of keep that challenge consistent. And then in true From Software fashion, apart from with the final boss, like overcoming it and like clowning on fools. There's no other word to describe it. It's just like, I remember reading about how hard people were having it with this one boss. And then I rocked up to this boss, but with a massive Scadutree blessing and like all of the like cool weapons and stuff, and just destroyed them. And that's the From Software experience. I'm not claiming that I'm better at the game than all those other people. I came at it with a bunch of advantages that I found throughout the game and was able to just mash through it. And then obviously like I found a boss where I was like, this fucking guy. I fuck this guy.
They have balanced the final boss that you do face.
I fucking hated that boss so much. Oh my god.
Yeah. And, I know that in the community, people saying, "Oh, well, I beat them when they were more difficult and all the rest of it." But it's the same mentality as those who says, "Well, I had to pay for my tuition fees, therefore everyone should have to." No, the people who are experiencing it now, they should have an easier time doing it because they've got enough to be dealing with.
Like I beat 100%. Him pre-patch, and I'm glad they patched him.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a horrific experience, and you don't want to go through that.
It was horrible.
Play the game how you want to, people. Fuck the haters.
If I can chime in on that, I think what they did story-wise was really, really interesting to me, and also the diversity they brought in with the different biomes. And there's, in that Elden Ring fashion, there's always something to do in these new biomes. There's new areas to discover, there's new enemies to face, and there'll be new bosses that are optional, for want for a better word, because they're away from the golden path. Yeah, and I just thought it was a really, really interesting experience. And the way you go about these quests, like one decision and one encounter can, lock away a whole different quest line to you, but open up several others. And it's just interesting how all that plays out. And it was a really, really interesting game to watch.
Like when I jumped back in, like I remember that video I sent you guys where I was just riding through the field and then the dragon landed on top of me. Yeah, and I was just like, that's great. Like I love that shit. It's just like I'm just riding along, minding my own business, and then what's that in the distance? But like, because I finished it. I went back to finish the main game, and then I went back into the DLC because I was like, I'm sure there's things I haven't found, and like to get to, I finally found. I'll just say I finally found the Abyssal Woods. In that sort of second part, like going back and being like, okay, let me really fucking explore this map. And like the journey to
You're
that.
still able.
yeah, before I hit New Game Plus and fuck it up.
Yeah.
Or sell my Xbox because that's what actually happened. Like the journey to get to that, it's like the improvement. One of the biggest improvements in Shadow of the Erdtree was the dungeons. The new dungeons, there were less of them, but they were so much more interesting. Because they didn't the ones in Elden Ring felt procedurally generated, even though they weren't. Whereas these ones felt handcrafted, even though the other ones were handcrafted as well. And like the journey down to the boss fight, and you think, cool, I'm done, but there's a door behind the boss. You know, and then you go through the door and you're in the Abyssal Woods. I won't spoil the Abyssal Woods, but holy fucking shit. And then you get through there into the mansion and it's like, what the fuck? And like, I'm just there's no end. Like, there's no end to this. I'm just going down and down and down and down. Like, where does this fucking end? Turns out it ends in the mansion, but it's fucking sick when it does. Like, it's just the best time I had with a game. So that's why. And if you've got a problem with me nominating a DLC for Game of the Year, I don't care.
Yeah, 100%. It's a thing you could play in the year 2024. It counts.
Yeah, it was new. I played it.
Yeah.
I rocked it. I loved it. Who cares? Why do you care what I enjoyed?
And if you do complain, you'll be cursed with a hail of harpoons. That's all we can do.
Curse you, Bale.
Exactly.
Guy was robbed. He should have won all the voice acting awards.
Yeah. We won't delve into the awards, but yeah, there were many crimes committed.
Yeah, I just know he should win all the BAFTAs and Game Awards and what are the other ones? Dice Awards. Hell, give him an Emmy.
To be next year. Yeah,
give him a fucking Emmy.
Hope, yeah. Get him an EGOT.
Yeah,
Sonic, go for it.
Fucking go for it.
Exactly. Who should win what? I'm confused.
One of the voice actors, like the guy who did the "Curse You, Bale" voice lines. He was fucking great.
Okay.
By the end, by the time you fight Bale in that game, you really agree with that guy.
Yeah, you empathize. Yeah,
you really empathize with that, how he feels. A final game of the year is yours, Vitz.
Yeah. So this was hotly contested in my mind. There were several games up there in that echelon.
Was it hotly contested with Astro Bot? Because I had a bet with myself that yours was going to be Astro Bot.
Yes, that's what it was. So for me, it was between Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It was between Astro Bot. So a game, let's go with Final Fantasy. Like it was a game that I really, really enjoyed. And then the bits I found frustrating was so frustrating, it took the shine off for me. Then we have Astro Bot, which is pure, unadulterated joy, and it was amazing. But then, dear friends, a little game called Metaphor ReFantazio entered my life. And this game is amazing. And in a year where we've had titles like Astro Bot and Final Fantasy and all the other games that we're going to get to through the rest of this podcast, Metaphor stands out above them all for me. And I know I reviewed it quite recently on the podcast, so I won't retread that ground. But there'll be new listeners to the Words About
Pretend like no one has
here.
listened to anything you've said all year.
Yes, this is true. So this is a game that has something to say in terms of social commentary about the value of fantasy itself and whether fiction can inspire or can it detract from the human experience, and the story that you go on with these characters and the bonds that you form there. It is next level. And yes, these are from the masters behind Persona 3, Persona 4, Persona 5. The base game's not necessarily the royal versions and the goldens and what have you. But yeah, this game knocks it out of the park. And yeah, there are some moments of frustration, but they're so few and far between. And I think me playing this game on easy, because I do this with all personas, I haven't got nothing to prove. It's one of these where I want to enjoy the game. It's a random concept. That game's supposed to be fun. and maybe I'll do that with the next Final Fantasy that I play. But yeah, this was an amazing experience, top to bottom, and the production values are insane, and the soundtrack goes so hard, and there's so many different intricacies that every time you think about this game, you take away something new from it in terms of. This is a game about bringing people together, and in the battle ambush theme, which I'm sure you've heard, dear listener, there's the chanting in Esperanto, which, as I come to learn, is a language that was formed so it is easily understandable by so many different people from so many different walks of life in order to bring them together and allow them to communicate. And in this story of bringing communities together through disparate tribes and societies and the whole strata there, it's so powerful to me. And the gameplay loop is so much fun. The battle system is amazing. And yeah, combined with everything, it's my game of the year.
Nice, that's cool. I love that for you. I'm going to hold out for the royal version, and if a royal version doesn't come, I will finish the save that I got about halfway through.
You get through the Dragon Temple. Yeah.
Get through the Dragon Temple. But I mean, like, my problems with that part and my issues at the beginning aside, like, there was so much of this game that I enjoyed. Like, I mean, there's a reason I put 40 odd hours into it.
Yes.
And not like 5. Like,
yeah.
Maybe I just needed a break, and I'll come back to it, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, the dragon. What was I worried about with the Dragon Temple?" But time marches on. I sometimes hear that in my head. I didn't help that I was playing Nier Automata a few weeks ago, and the same voice actor has a very similar line in Nier Automata, and I was like, "You son of a bitch!"
That's why they landed the role.
It's like I got activated. I was like, "What the fuck? Oh, fuck off! Fuck off with time marching on." But no, like Metaphor's a cool game, like for sure. And I get why people love it so much. So that's cool. And it inspired one of my greatest lines of the podcast all year, which was the battle theme sounds like someone kicked an opera singer down the stairs.
Yes. It tracks. It so tracks.
Cool. So if you don't have anything else to say about your overall game of the year, I think we'll take a very early... We usually take very late breaks if we don't have them bang in the middle. I think we're going to take a very early break this week.
Sure.
And then we'll just roll on through all of the other games that we want to talk about. Probably in less detail, but get those wish listing fingers ready to roll. We're not going to do an indie game of the week this week because we're going to talk about a bazillion indie games. Or I am. I noticed you guys didn't have any indie games on your on your list, so it's fine. I'll carry that one.
Didn't play any.
I mean, I think that's not true. You didn't get fired in January.
No, but I didn't play any indie games to my knowledge.
Okay. So yeah, our fundraiser for Special Effect is still open until
games don't count
until the 31st of December. So if you're in the spirit of giving this holiday season, check out the QR code that's going to come up on the screen while Fitz tells you about Special Effect. We'll see you in a minute.
What's good, everybody? I hope you're having the best day. The Words About Games podcast is fundraising for the fabulous team over at Special Effect. If you didn't know, Special Effect is a charity that transforms the lives of physically disabled people all over the world through innovative use of technology. The heart of their work is the mission to maximize fun by helping people control video games to the best of their abilities. They're bringing families and friends together, having a profoundly positive impact in quality of life, confidence, and rehabilitation. Amy, Media, and I have been working on a number of streams to bring you a whole host of shows, games, shenanigans, and more. Everything from ranking Resident Evil, becoming the noble team in Halo Reach, and finding our competitive streak in legally distinct and 90s game shows. We've got several more charity streams in the works, and with your help, we can get there. Special Effect is a charity near and dear to our hearts, and we'd love your support in raising as much money as possible to bring the joy of video games to so many more people. Simply click on the link in the description below of wherever you're enjoying this podcast, or scan the QR code you see now. That will take you to our Just Giving page where you can learn more and donate. If you're not in a position to donate, that's more than okay. Times are tough and we understand. Please consider sharing our Just Giving page on social media. It will help spread the word and the work that we're doing. Thanks for listening, and for now, let's get back to the podcast.
And we're back.
Hey.
Placed it on my Steam wishlist, still ain't loading. Get off the internet, nerds. I want to buy some video games.
Do you reckon it's because the Steam sale has started, if I get my words out?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Everybody's like, I gotta get the deals before they disappear.
Of course.
In January.
There's limited stock of these games, you know?
Yeah. You can tell it's fucked because I haven't had 700 emails telling me like all my games are on sale that I normally get. But it's like, I would like to at least have a look.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Just a bit of window shopping, that's all.
Yeah. No, not window shopping. I will be purchasing. I will be making some purchases.
All the money you would have spent on retro consoles, it all goes to Steam.
Well, no, I was like, I'm going to be good this month. I'm going to buy my Steam games this month because Steam sale. The retro consoles are taking a break. I'm going to a retro games fair in February, so
okay,
we'll see what I can dig out of there.
Yeah.
Kind of focus on my PS1 at the minute. I'm in my PS1 era again.
Good era to be in.
Hey, some good games came out on PS1. What can I say? But let's get back to my PS5 era.
Yes.
Current era of video games. It's time for the rest of our favorite video games of 2024. Much like the previous discussion, everything here is in release order. I'm not gonna lie, there's a big chunk in the middle that's just gonna be me. I learned that 3 of my games that I played this year all came out on the same day, apparently. Go figure. But we're gonna kick things off with a game. I believe it was you, Moody, that nominated. That's the word.
Yes, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. January was a banging year for 2024 for games. Like a Dragon came out that month, and so did Prince of Persia. Prince of Persia was arguably the first big game that came out from a big quote unquote big publisher when it comes to Ubisoft and everything. And
what good care they took with that that team.
Oh, they love that publisher so well. They bought them all the money in the world and everything, and they're so happy. But jokes aside, this was just. I'm not a Prince of Persia guy. I never have been. I don't think I've ever played a single Prince of Persia game whatsoever, so that's just not my franchise whatsoever. I just missed it. But I really liked the look of this. I thought when I first saw the trailer, I think it was last year, I was just like, oh wow, this looks really canny. And then I won't lie, I think I saw a preview from Skill Up, and he was just like, this is fucking fantastic, play this game type of thing, and I was like, I'm in. And I played it, and I absolutely loved this game. I thought it was such a great game. It takes. I'm not going to even go into the depth of what it does better than the other ones because I haven't got a fucking clue. I love the gameplay. I love the visual style. It was over the top, but it was also. It makes it for me. I was just like throughout of it. It was a simple story that you knew what was kind of going to happen and everything. But I think the voice actor I thought was very well done.
Yeah, and
it works in such a great way. The thing that sells you on this game is the combat, is the game mechanics throughout all of it, and it is a Souls-like type of game when it comes to not Souls-like, a Metroidvania. Sorry, my apologies. Well, actually, I think there's a little bit of Souls-like into it when it comes to its boss battles for it, where you have to be very, very precise.
Yeah, you have to download the movements and the patterns of the boss, and then when you reach the various save points, all the enemies do respawn, kind of thing. So I know there are more elements which contribute towards like being a Souls-like, but it does share some systems.
Yeah, I know that, but this one was just it took what was old from all previous games and reinvented it to give Prince of Persia a fresh new paint of life, and it was just really, really great. I loved it. I thought it was really, really canny, and it deserves to be mentioned at the end of the year and everything, because sadly it's a game that seems like it's just been kind of forgotten about. Even though we're not talking about the Game Awards, I was so happy to see that it won Accessibility Award last week. I was like, because that was the thing when I talked about this game earlier in January. I was like, the accessibility options I think were one of its best, strongest aspects of the game, apart from obviously the great gameplay, which I thought was just fantastic to see. And to see that was recognized above all the other really giant, big titles that are bigger in it, really, I thought was just fantastic to see and everything. So yeah, I was really happy to see this, and it's a game that deserves the love. Go out and check it out, people.
Yeah, so from what I've seen of the game, to echo your words, this game is amazing by all counts. Difficult as hell when it comes to some of the platforming sections as well. But as you say, the accessibility options are there, and yeah, the team has been disbanded sadly, and many of the staff there have been rolled into other teams at Ubisoft, and some have sadly lost their roles. And I'm glad they'll be able to add, that this is an award-winning title that they've been able to work onto their resumes to hopefully find greener pastures.
Nice. Next up, it's a Vits game.
Yeah. So The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, a game which didn't need to come out because The Last of Us Part 2 still looks fantastic, even the PS4 version on PS5. But this came with some new shiny bells and whistles, and for me, because I have the game on PS4, it was only a £10 upgrade or $10 depending on where you are in the world, kind of thing. Yeah, so it's a weird one. So the thing with this title is the main game is the same in terms of the mechanics that it brings and all the rest of it, and the story is just as harrowing as it was the first time you experienced it. And as many people know, this game is about the cycle of violence and how it's a bad thing. So what did they do in their eternal wisdom? Add a roguelike mode where it's more violence, which I haven't touched, to be fair. But yeah, this game is still a standout on its own. And yeah, it was interesting to go back and experience it again. And it might just be something that I do, and I imagine other people have this too, is when you re-experience the story, you take new things from it. And that was very much the case for me in this time, of just seeing some of the quality of life things they brought to the game, and some of the small improvements, which are slight. And I imagine that on PS5 Pro, this game sings even harder with it. It's even more bells and whistles. But yeah, it was good to go back to this at the start of the year as a bit of a kind of palate cleanser to lead us into 2024.
Fucking hell of a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
That's a very very interesting.
I'm gonna cleanse my palate with misery.
It brings the vibes down so everything can bring it all way back up again. That's what it is.
So you wanted to make yourself miserable for a more funny game further down the line? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. I turned old in January. I needed to wallow in the misery a bit. That's what it was.
I just wanted to wallow.
You turned old in January. Jesus.
Well, the next game is mine. It was Pacific Drive, an Amy Ass Amy game. If there was ever an Amy Ass Amy game, like this game turned me into something I never thought I would be, which was a car person.
Yeah,
like driving around in the zone. It's very much like I think I said when I reviewed it. If you ever read the book, that name is just completely escaping me. Roadside Picnic. It's very much like a video game version of Roadside Picnic, and I love that book. So the game was awesome, and like going through the different things, seeing all the different anomalies, and like building yourself up to be able to go on further runs. All that stuff was good. Like the tourists, the mannequins, I love them. Like, did that move? Did it move? Was it there before? And then obviously, like, yeah, I did.
It moved.
Oh, it moved. Yeah, don't kick them. Don't kick the tourists. I know you get a trophy for it, but don't do it. But yeah, no, like the thing that I really connected with the most with Pacific Drive was this stupid little rust bucket car that you get, and just like slowly like making it your own, restoring it to life, getting the spray paints and putting the panels on it, and like putting the upgrades on it, like the big searchlights that I had on the top for it, with like going through dark zones and stuff. And like, I never thought I would ever get emotionally attached to a car, but I think one of the things that sold it for me, I think that one of the things that sold it for me more specifically was like, one of the things that I liked about it was I didn't feel, when you play a driving game, like you're not playing a person driving a car, you're playing the car. Like, it's the way I like to sort of describe like a Burnout or a Forza or something, which is cool. It's fine. But in Pacific Drive, I felt like I was a person driving a car.
Okay.
Whereas, like, I feel like I'm the person in the thing with, like, and I've got the free look, and I've got to do the handbrake thing, and I've got to turn the key, and like I'm looking out and I'm looking in the mirrors and stuff. It's like, it's not like I just hit a button and it reverses the view, and I can't change the views, and like all that stuff was cool. Like the way the game teaches you, no, you have to put your handbrake on when you get out of the car, or you're going for a walk, and that's if your car doesn't run you over. Like all
that applies to real life too, friends, as well.
Yeah, sure. But obviously, like, in any game, you stop the car is stopped. That's it. It's fine.
Oh, yeah,
but like,
yeah,
no, you have to
100%,
turn the engine off to save your battery. You have to pull the thing, and it's just like, I loved it, man. Like, the car itself had so much. The game has a lot of personality. It's a great game, but like, the car itself had so much personality and so much investment. Like, it's not a spoiler because this is literally one of the first things that you learn in the game. It's like people in the zone go mad because they get attached to anomalies, and the car itself is an anomaly. And the idea is it's dangerous for you to get attached to anomalies. And I like the fact that I got attached to, like, not the character, like me playing the game got attached to the car. I was like, it was such a clever sort of like immersion, I guess. And I fucking love this game. Everybody should play it. It's so good.
Can I ask how would you adapt this into a TV show?
Well, I mean, it's pretty much got the same vibes as a book. So I imagine it's the concept is pretty malleable, right? It's like the way the runs work is you basically, you don't have to die to go back to the garage. Like, going back to the garage is part of the thing. It's like, once you finish a run, you collect the energy and you go into the portal, and it takes you back to the garage. So it's like, you can easily adapt that form. It wouldn't be like trying to adapt Hades into a TV show, which would be a lot more difficult. Like, the structure is pretty linear.
Yeah. So the reason I'm asking that question is because some executives are going to do just that.
They're going to try,
Yes. So I'm interested to see
how
that turns out. But to your point about a car being more than just an object is one I 100% empathize with. And for me, like, a car isn't a dead piece of metal. It's a living, breathing thing, and it communicates with you in terms of the way that it handles and the way that it can send you signals about its movements before it actually happens for you, kind of thing, as a driver. So listen.
It goes even further than that, where it's like there's a quirk system. So like, you'll get a fault on the car, but it doesn't tell you what the fault is. It just tells you it's got one, and you've got to figure out what it is by how the car's behaving. So like, one of the ones that I got was like, every time I reversed, like every time I went into reverse, like the bonnet pops open. That was an obvious one, obviously, because but it's like still figuring out why does the bonnet keep popping open. And then you've got to be able to fix it. You just have to figure out what specifically the problem is. But there was some great ones in there. But like, the other thing I want to shout out about Pacific Drive as well is it's got a fucking shit ton of options for like difficulty customization, where it's not just like easy, normal, hard. It's like, okay, you can like one of the things I did in the beginning, because I was having trouble learning the game under pressure, when you're leaving a place, you collect the energy, and then the portal opens, and you've got to get to the portal while the storm's closing in on you. Kind of like a battle royale, but like, good. But there was too much pressure. I'm terrible at driving. I'm still learning, so like, I just turned that off. I turned it back on later, but like, you can just do that. You can just turn it off. It's like, it's the same thing with like, there's options to like tone down. It's not a scary game, but it's definitely got vibes. And but there's options to turn those vibes down. Like, you can have it so like you never find a dark zone, a zone that is perpetual night, for example. Is one of them that I remember. But there's a lot of different options to customize your experience, so it's very inviting as a video game.
Oh yeah.
And it's probably on sale. I wouldn't know. I can't get on Steam. Next video game.
Yeah. Next one, I'm up. So this is for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. As many of you may know, it's a follow-up to Final Fantasy VII Remake, and this is a game that I think all three of us tried, and it's one of the few games which all three of us have played this year. So It has that going for it, and yeah, this is a very, very special game. And being the middle part of a trilogy, it's tricky for it to establish the identity of its own, and as you would imagine, kind of thing. It's also trying to establish a start, middle, and end of its own within a part of a larger story as well. I will say that some of the quality of life things it's brought over from remake and then added to and expanded upon, say the combat system, has worked wonders, and I really enjoy the combat system itself. There are a few design choices which I think hold this game back from being hold this back from greatness for me, and that was my experience. But it's an experience which I think many people share in terms of some of the skill checks it gives you and some of the difficulty spikes, and how
Just one.
yeah, and yeah, how the game itself doesn't give you a great sense of, oh, this is how you should be looking to build out your material load set and things like that, in terms of sometimes you need to prioritize defense and it can't just all be offense and things like that. And maybe I should have figured that out on my own, but hey, here we are. And then it decides, you know what, a 10-phase final boss fight is the way to go to end things on. But yeah, aside from that, the characters I fell in love with, the soundtrack is phenomenal, and Amy and I went to the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth Orchestra this year as well at the Royal Albert Hall, and that was amazing, save for one person behind me. But yeah, visually this game is stunning, and yeah, there are some technical limitations. I think the PS5 Pro managed to alleviate some of those, and we just see whether the team stick with Unreal Engine 4, what they know, or if they move to Unreal Engine 5 for the third game, which we don't have a title for yet. But yeah, it's Final Fantasy VII. The character moments and the story progression and the moments between these characters, some of the best that I've experienced. And if you delve into the wealth of side quests, and there is a lot to do in this game, then the bits of story that you get there are really impactful. And for someone who fell in love with Remake, this is a strong follow-up. As I said, there's a few design decisions which I would have made differently, but this is still a special game. It just holds it back from greatness for me.
Some of the highest highs I experienced in 2024 with some of the most tedious bloat I experienced in 2024.
There you go.
It's probably
the best
how
of times, it was worse at times.
I would summarize the game, and an ending that I did not get on with.
Yes.
I probably wasn't predisposed to like the ending anyway, but the fact that you say it's a 10-phase boss fight. If you want to change the difficulty at any point because you're getting fucking murdered, you then have to restart all 10 phases. But yeah, no, like it fucking, some of the moments, like I could do a 2-hour podcast just talking about some of the coolest parts of the game.
100%.
But then like the part of my brain that is like, I cannot leave this area unfinished, which is partially a me problem, right? Like, move on, Amy, move on. And it's just, I can't. I've got to get all of these live stream things, or like do all of the Queen's Blood game, and it's just like, move on, Amy.
And then Chadley's going to ring you and have the same tone of announcement, like surprise in their voice as they do every other time you do it. Cloud.
Yeah. But
yeah, he dials himself up an AI girlfriend, and because of course he does.
I'm gonna drink my drink.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I imagine it'll be on sale at this part of the year, and it's coming to PC early next year as well. So
January, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. So yeah, if you want to experience this game without some of the technical limitations that we face on PS5, then fill your boots.
With all new technical limitations, I imagine.
100%, yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention
if you have a system
this
that's,
game.
Priced at several $1,000s, then maybe you won't run into some of this issue.
Maybe when I replay this game in a couple of years, I'll have a better like time with the ending.
Yeah,
and I'll have a better time with like going, I know what I don't need to do now.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it's still a phenomenal game, right? Like
100%.
The gold saucer, and it's just like, boom.
Oh, Love Lust itself, yeah, that's
yeah,
goated.
And I'm not going to be a mood killer, so I ain't saying anything.
A moody killer.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my god.
Interesting.
Why did all my games come out all at once?
Cool. Sit back, Vicks.
let me just crack through a bunch of my games. The first one, Alone in the Dark. Is this a response to my perception that people were too mean about this game when it came out?
Yes.
Partially, yes. Partially, 100%.
Not partially, 100%. Yeah.
But no, like, it's here because I had a good time with it. Like, aside from like going in with a certain set of expectations based on how the game had been received, because I played it about a month after it came out. Like going in and just being like, it's pretty good. Like, if you went expecting Resident Evil remake like levels of goodness, like, dude, this is their first game. Like, what? Don't pin those expectations on this developer. But if you just go in thinking, let's see what this game's all about, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I had a fun time with it. And the ending made me laugh a lot. And I think it was supposed to. So I don't think this was me laughing at it when it was trying to be serious. I think I was supposed to laugh at this game.
It's a shame though to hear like you really enjoyed this game and everything, but sadly the studio has been shut. So
it was one of those things where it was like, oh, like I think the teams learned a lot of lessons that they can take forward into another Alone in the Dark or like another project, and then obviously Embracer decided to close the studio down. So it's like they can't take those lessons forward. Like I think we would have gotten. Like if they were going to make a sequel to this game, like, I think we would have gotten a really good follow up. But there's just no space for that. Like there's no space for building a solid foundation anymore, which is a shame. And like I hear the game was buggy. I don't know. I didn't get that many bugs, so I can't comment on that part. Again, didn't play it at launch. But yeah, Alone in the Dark. It's pretty good. I think you check it out. It's probably pretty cheap these days.
Yeah.
And next up, Dragon's Dogma 2, the weirdest RPG I played all year. And I fucking loved it because of that weirdness. Like, I didn't finish this game. As I mentioned when I reviewed it back in May or whenever it was, like, there's too many enemies. And, like, people are going to be like, oh, this is your too much water moment. No, there's too many enemies in this game. Like, you can't go more than 10 steps without having to fight.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it became too much for me. But I played about 30-ish hours of the game. Got well into the second act. And fucking, I was loving everything about it. Like, everything it was doing that was, like, a bit weird and a bit different. Like, I fucking loved it. Like, the friction in this game was perfect. Like, I remember doing the fast travel thing where you're on the cart and then getting off the cart at the village and being like, wait, is that the combat music? But I'm at the village. Like, I haven't been ambushed. And then you run into the village, there's a fucking dragon in there.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. And, like, yeah, like, there's a dragon that will just attack you at times completely by surprise. Like, I was just running through the wilderness, minding my own business. There's a fucking dragon around the corner. But there's also another boss enemy, and they're fighting each other. Because that's what happens. It's like, this game is great.
While managing your party's madness levels as well, because
boy, you don't want them to get the Dragon's Plague or whatever the hell it is. Like, yeah, that was so cool. Like, I get why people were mad about that, but it's such a cool mechanic. Yeah. Like, and like, there is I do have it. Like, I do get a bit like, well, if you paid attention to the game while you were playing it.
Maybe. They were having too much fun, Apes.
Yeah, it's just like, pay attention to your games, people. You'll enjoy them more. But yeah, no, this
systems in them. Yeah.
This was such a fun experience. I do want to finish it at some point. Like, I've heard that the end section of the game is actually the sequel. Like, as someone who never played Dragon's Dogma, like, apparently, like, Dragon's Dogma 2 doesn't start until, like, the third act. Like,
fair enough.
And I'm like, damn, there's more? Cool. Like, where else can you take me on this ride? I'm in. Like, this ride is great. Like, the main plot isn't great. The dialogue isn't that good, but the game, like, the emergent storytelling is so fucking good.
Yeah, my one takeaway from that game is that you get to throw the pawns of problematic content creators off a cliff
into the ocean,
water,
like into the sea with you.
Exactly.
I never got that pawn, so I couldn't do that. But yeah, no, that's also how you cure Dragon's Plague. You just throw them into the ocean and kill them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it's a very good game. Just it wore me down a little bit. But speaking of the games, I got tons more.
Yeah.
I got Crow Country, which came out on the same day as the next two games that I'm going to talk about. But Crow Country was first for some reason. It's a really good throwback game. Like it's a game like you get a lot of survival horror games that like are throwbacks because survival horror was such an iconic genre in the 90s on like PS1. And not a lot of them understand why the genre was so popular. Like, you know, like it's not just that it has static cameras, it's how the static cameras were used by games like the original Resident Evils, the original Silent Hills. Like the camera angles themselves, like the way the camera worked against the player, as one example. Like with Crow Country, it understood that the combat needs to be clunky, or the horror is not going to work. So you're either going to get on with that, or you're not. Because the idea is like you don't just run around and shoot everything. Like run past things. Like this is the way. This is the survival horror way. In a video script that I'm writing right now, I talk about survival horror instincts, and the survival horror instinct is you can just run past that, you know.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to shoot it.
There's a difference between video games empowering you and then video games taking that power away from you. So, resources are limited. You don't have enough ammo to shoot everybody until they drop. Sometimes you do have to juke a mania and run around a fool.
Yeah, it's like, how do we disincentivize a certain thing? And it's like, you can do it in a number of different ways. And Crow Country does the classic wombo combo of you don't have enough ammo, and it's not great to shoot things. Like, it doesn't feel amazing in a good way. But yeah, no, like running around and like exploring this haunted, cursed theme park and like peeling back the layers of like what the hell's going on at this place and who you are and why you're there. And it was all great. Like, I platinumed the game. Like, I went back did my second playthrough I think the same day or the day after I finished my first run and just knocked out all the rest of those trophies.
Hell yeah.
And speaking of games that I platinumed, I also platinumed another game, and that game was Animal Well. I went into a fugue state. I booted the game up, and then I finished it. And in between those two things, I probably slept and maybe ate some food, but like I was just all Animal Well all the time. Like, got to the credits, did the thing, was like, there's no way I'm finished this game. There's far too much left on the table for me. Let me go fucking explore this world again. Boom. Hit the credits again. Got the platinum. And then I was like, there's still more, but I'm not smart enough to figure it out. So I'm going to leave it there. But I was following along on Reddit with like all the other things that people were discovering. And it was just like, wow. Like, if you like games where it's like, you know, people talk about, oh, I don't like hand holding in video games, and they're talking about like yellow paint or whatever. Like, yeah, but like this is one of those where it's like it's done in a really clever way, where it's like you have a frisbee, and there's one really obvious use for the frisbee when you get it. You throw it, and it hits a switch. Cool, that's what the frisbee's for.
Yep.
But then, without the game ever like leading you to it, the frisbee does a bunch of other stuff, and the only way you figure that out is to go, can I do this? And then try it, and then it works. And then like another, like the game opens up a bit more for you, where it's like, oh, if I can do that here, maybe I could do that here and here, and then like you come across,
it's got additional utility,
and it's like, holy crap,
that,
right? And it's like each item that you get in Animal Well, like, the game leads you to use it in one way, as if to say, this is this item's utility. and that's great. And that you use it a bunch in that way. But then it's like, it's that curiosity that I talk about a lot in video games, where it's like, but how else can I use this thing? Because once you figure out some stuff does more than one thing, then you start trying everything with everything, and that's the genius of the game. That's the genius of Animal Well. Like when I talk about Shadow of the Erdtree being my game of the year, Animal Well was a close second. Like it was a toss up between the two.
I won't lie, this is the one I thought was going to be your game of the year and everything like that. I forgot that you played DLC. Yeah, so I was very surprised that it wasn't Animal Well. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, like I say, like I actually played it before I played Crow Country as well. But yeah, no, it's a game that impressed me constantly. There was no moment where I was like, oh, this bit kind of sucks, or oh, this mechanic doesn't really feel great. It's like, no, I was just constantly impressed. I felt like an idiot the entire time I was playing it, especially when I like pieced out at the third layer of puzzles. But no, it was a phenomenal experience. Like, if you like games, I don't want to say if you like games that don't have hand holding, but like again, that's a pretty toxic thing to say these days.
Yeah.
But if you like games where experimentation and curiosity are like the key pillars, like you'll love Animal Well.
Mm-hmm.
Am I done yet?
Almost.
No.
Oh, bloody hell. Who decided to put these in release order? Okay, so the next game, the next game I played is one I'm not going to talk about a lot because I only finished it last week, and I'm still sitting with my feelings on it because there's let
it percolate with you.
There's a lot to unpack in it. 1,000 Times Resist, which eventually like too many people were like, this game's amazing. And I was like, fine, I'll fucking play the damn thing. I did buy it months ago and just never got around to it.
They don't know that.
It is a very it's a narrative game. The gameplay, there's not really much gameplay to it, and there's no real challenge. Like, you're not going to be like exploring this or fighting that, you know what I mean? It's just like the construction of the narrative and the staging of it. You talk about video games that are cinematic in terms of like, this is like a movie. This is very much like a stage play in terms of like its framing. But like, obviously, like it goes a lot further than a stage play can go because you're the character in the game. And it definitely has moments where the story slows a bit too much for my liking in terms of like, this cool thing just happened, but then we're just gonna run it back to the dude, and it's like, I don't want you to run it back, I want to keep going. And like, but wow, like this game is about everything. Like, you talk about like the key theme of this game is war is bad. Like you were saying about Last of Us, the key theme is that violence is bad.
Yeah, the cycle of violence.
Violence is bad. This game has so many themes like that it runs with, and I saw someone describe it as like one of those infinite paintings where it's like you keep scrolling, you keep zooming in, and it's you see, and like there's just more and more and more, and that's what 1,000 Times Resist is like. The best way I can describe to play it is just to sit back and let it wash over you. Like,
okay,
it's an incredible experience. The twists, the turns. You think you know what the game's about. You think you know what's going on, and then no, you don't. Like the game will pull the rug out from under you multiple times. Every time you stand back up and think, "Oh, okay, so I get it now." No, you don't. No, I don't get it. What the fuck? It's a genuinely incredible experience from the very first moment to the very last moment, and I love the way it, without spoilers, I can't talk about why, but I love the way it handles player choice in a very different way to what you're used to, in terms of like, like the thing about games that are choices matter is all the way through the game you're making choices and branching, whereas this game doesn't do that. It gives you all of this information and then says, okay, do what you will with it. Like, do what you think is best. And I love that. I think that's a really great way to approach a choice-based gameplay.
And I imagine there's a lot of gray area in that. There's no black and white to say, okay, this is clearly the option that
there's. Well, there is and there isn't. Like, I think what's going to be fascinating about 1,000 Times Resist, because I think it's going to launch 1,000 think pieces and video essays, and I think with 1,000 Times Resist, what people talk about about that game is going to be more telling about them than the game.
Mm.
I think like when I eventually sit down to write about this game, which I will, what I choose to talk about is going to be more telling about me than it is about the game. Because it hits so many different notes, and it's like, what do you choose to focus on? What do you choose to not? What did you like? What didn't you like? What did you choose? What didn't you choose? You know, that kind of thing. But yeah, I think this is a game that's going to be talked about for a long time. I recommend it if you like narrative-driven games. And they are hard. It is a hard to follow game. It does a lot of like jumping about in time, as well. But exceptional game. Exceptional.
Oh yeah.
Glad I played it. Glad the internet finally bullied me into playing it.
Bullying works, everybody.
Which is what happened. And the last game in this run for me is Arco, which I talked about a few months ago, which is it's a Mesoamerican magical realist tactical RPG. I want to call it. With the big standout for me was the combat mechanics, where it's like turn based but simultaneous. So you can see what the enemies are doing. It's like top down thing, and it's like, okay, so you can see if this guy's going to shoot this way, and it's like it's like in increments of like a few seconds. So it's like you do your thing, but all the enemies are doing their thing as well. So you've got to kind of react to the enemies at the same time as they're doing things. It's very, very cool. Like, you know, it's like, oh, this guy's about to swing, so I need to run away, or oh, if I jump over this guy, I'll be behind him, and then I can hit him with the special sword attack, or like I can use my sniper rifle from a distance, but I need to be aware that this guy's about to try and shoot me. Like, you know, it's like the moment to moment in the combat is great, but the story's very good as well. Delivered across 3 different protagonists. It is very much a tale about colonialism, and the damages of colonialism, but also about revenge. The quote, which I can't remember who originally said this, you know, if you set out on a path of revenge, dig 2 graves, which is a paraphrase, is very much like that's the vibe of the game. And it is a very cool, very interesting story with great combat. Took me about 10-ish hours, and it is. All the characters were very, very interesting. I liked seeing the 3 different perspectives coming together at the end for like a 4th act of carnage. But I did love the combat. So like, it's got both, right? It's that indie game with like the great story, but also the great combat as well.
Yeah.
Arco.
Great stuff. Next one is me. We'll give Amy a break from chatting constantly. This is for a little game that was announced and came out in the very same year. Astro Bot by Team Asobi. You may have seen it's picked up a Game of the Year award. So congrats to the team there. I believe it's 65 odd people who put this game together. So congrats to them. So this is the follow-up to Astro's Playroom, which was shipped with every single PlayStation 5 unit out there. And this game is phenomenal. It's a 3D platformer in a style of games that we no longer get anymore. And this was, for me at least, a beautiful refresher in just how fun it can be to be in an environment like this, and for the vibes to be immaculate, and it being a celebration of the lineage, not necessarily of just PlayStation, but of video games itself, and the creativity that the team have on display in terms of the different abilities Astro has in various different planets and worlds and biomes that you have them go through. And whilst there is an overall overarching story, then it's not necessarily all that's important. It's fine, the components of the PlayStation, put them back together again, kind of thing. But there's a certain art in how they've positioned certain PlayStation bots for you to find in certain theme levels, and what they've done in terms of the in the hub world, you can essentially find an accessory that goes with every single PlayStation bot, and they are all so different types of cute and adorable, and like interactable as well. So you can go around, you can interact with them, and some of them are tied to various different trophies by having having Kratos use his ice axe on Thor while he's distracted while attacking you, kind of thing. And yeah, so there's a lot of that going on. And as I say, the creativity are some of the things they have you doing some of the levels with the mechanics. And for some of the mechanics, you only ever see them once in the game, and it does that thing where it leaves you wanting more as opposed to overstaying its welcome. And on top of this, they have what they call VIP bots. And these are specially themed levels around certain PlayStation icons. And they will have their own orchestral arrangements of soundtracks, as well as a level themed around what the character is known for. So for Aloy, she goes around and she has a bow. For Nathan Drake from Uncharted, there's an Uncharted jungle theme level, and you go around and it's the third person shooter. And yeah, this game is phenomenal. The soundtrack is outstanding, and it's one where I'll find myself going back and just listening to different tracks on different icons, and some of the VIP bots, like the Loco Roco track that they have, has a complete earworm, and it's adorable. And this game puts a smile on your face, and there's too few of those these days. And that was Astro Bot.
This is a game we all played as well.
Oh, it is.
I just realized when you were talking, I was like, we all played this.
Yeah.
I finally decided to finally learn the lesson that platformers are great and amazing, but not for me.
Yes, and that's fair.
Yeah. But I'm happy to try
some of the challenge levels were a bit much, but I somehow managed to get through them.
I remember when you messaged me that, and I was like, I was still playing it at the time, and I did the first ones. The challenge levels are the ones where it's like the different symbols.
It's a shape, yeah. It's like 4 triangles, yeah.
I did the first ones, and I was like, I don't know what Fitz is talking about. These aren't that bad, and I suck at platformers. And then I did the second one, and I was like, oh yeah, I get it now. Yeah, these are terribly difficult.
But yeah,
that's a good game. So.
There you go. Yeah, and yeah, there's a certain nostalgia of finding characters that you love and adore and seeing them this like Astro Botified version of them, and yeah, they're all different types of adorable. And as I say, this game is designed to make people smile. I hope that it continues to sell more copies than I think it sold around about 2 million copies to date, and being spotlighted at the Game Awards, and I'm sure it will go on to win many others as well. And for a team that small to producing a content with this such quick turnaround time, relatively speaking, hopefully it sends the message that we are in desperate need of smaller games like this, not only to kind of flesh out Sony's stable of prestige third-person action games, it's to fill in that space where this is a game that can be enjoyed for the whole family. And that's a cliche thing to say, but it's true in this sense, kind of thing. You're not going to give The Last of Us Part 2 to a small child, kind of thing, but they can go around and have fun with Astro Bot.
No,
you could give it The Last of Us.
I was about to say,
they might be traumatized.
Well, they understand what was happening.
Yes. Yeah, but then you'd have to deal with social securities coming around to take your children away from you.
There's no doubt about that. Yeah. Astro Bot, yeah, it's a really, really kind of game. I had a lot of fun with it. I didn't get around to completing it and everything, just other things came around. And yeah, it was the music. I agree with what Fitz says, absolutely fantastic. I agree with what you said, Fitz, about hopefully this is PlayStation hopefully finally resetting themselves back into just doing what they do best, just putting out just great games along with like Nintendo were doing and everything. So it's like, yeah, just get back on that. I agree with what I think Sean Layden has been saying. He thinks they're pushing everything for live service games. It's for a lot of people, for a lot of companies, are finally going to start cut down. So hopefully they can get back to what they were meant to be doing, and that's just great. Fun and enjoyable, great video games, and Astro Bot was just nothing but a fun and enjoyable game.
Yeah, and I hope that it was a sustainable creative effort from them as well, in terms of it didn't cost $300 million like a Spider-Man would and all the rest of it. I imagine it didn't, but it's one of these where if they can not necessarily churn out these games, because I think that's the wrong word to use, but just produce these games which are properly managed in terms of the pipeline and things like that, and the expectations are managed, and there's not that constant bloat of, oh, it needs to be a 40-hour experience or whatever it happens to be, kind of thing. I think we're in a much better place, because yeah, there needs to be a reset within the industry at large in terms of we need to go after sustainability, not just infinite growth, because that's a fool's errand.
Yeah, they've got something that's really great with Astro Bot. It's their own brand new IP that's basically cost them nothing to create or anything like that when it comes to like the new idea and everything. But yeah, I'd be very surprised if it came out and said this cost $300 million to make. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, PlayStation? I'll be serious. I'm already questioning them when it comes to these fucking price tags. But like, yeah, that came out and I'll be like, you're fucking nuts. But yeah, no, it's a great game.
Anecdotally, like all of the third-party characters that feature in the game, when Team Asobi approached them, they were all on board, Square Enix aside, and didn't want anything in return. It was like, okay, yeah, sure, this is a fantastic idea. It's going to celebrate the history of our games and things like that, and hopefully there's more collaboration in the future.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
cool. So the next game is mine, but really,
it's also my fault.
It's Vitz, but really it's Vitz's too, because it's Vitz's fault that I played this. It's Vitz's fault that I'm not talking about Legend of Zelda right now, because I'm talking about Witchfire instead, which is a game that came out in early access, and like, fam. You know me in early access games. I buy them because they're usually cheaper than full, like, day one full release, but then I don't play them. Or I play them for an hour to see what the vibes are. I lost myself in Witchfire for like two weeks because, wow, this is already a really great video game. Like, I've seen Dark Souls comparisons. It has some mechanics from Dark Souls, but it's definitely like not that. It's very much like classic PC first person shooters. Like the developers of Painkiller made this, so like I would compare it to like a Painkiller type game. It's a first person shooter RPG where the shooting mechanics are really slick, and the RPG mechanics are very cool. I don't want to say too much more about it because with how early access is, like, what I say about how the game works could change, like, fundamentally, like, by the time it comes out. But right now, from what I've played, and I have dipped because I got to a point where I was like, I want to save this for when it comes out. Like, I don't want to rinse all of this and then have to, like, redo it when the game comes out. Because, like, that's just not who I am as a person. But a good, like, 15 hours I played of this game, getting to, like, the third map, like, getting through the bosses, like learning like the intricacies of the combat, going from being terrified to like take on some of the bigger challenges to like reveling in it because like, you know, I've learned the game, I've learned the mechanics, I know how to fight now. It's a superb game already, and I can't wait to see like how the developers build on that for when the game comes out, like in all the updates, but for when the game is finished and it's 1.0 and I'm gonna dive back in and I'm gonna be a fucking freak about it because like I'm gonna be like, this game was sick in 2024 and now in 2052 when the game's finally done and I'm in my retirement home. But yeah, it was such a cool experience, and like the strongest praise I can possibly give it is, yeah, I played this instead of playing a Legend of Zelda game. Like, that's how much I couldn't tear myself away from playing it every night when I was, like, sitting down to play a game for a couple hours. I was like, Zelda was right there, but I'm just going to click on Witchfire for a bit. And I can't say higher praise than that, so I won't try.
That's it. Thankfully, I've got some high praise words for The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which is a new release for the Nintendo Switch that came out this year. And it's one of the few games where Zelda herself is the star. And so this is a game by Team Grezzo. They are possibly most famous for doing the Link's Awakening remake. And they are back with the same art style, with this new experience where, as I say, Zelda's a protagonist in a game called Legend of Zelda. It's a wild concept. But yeah, this is a title where she is essentially a summoner, and you can summon many of the objects within the world of Hyrule and use them to your whim, including enemies. So the mechanic goes, as soon as you beat an enemy, you can then learn to replicate it with her staff, as it were. And the way this story goes is really interesting. As I say, it's a refreshing pace from just being Link. I will say that there are some game mechanics that Link has, which Zelda can use as well, which is a little bit of a cop out, but I can see why it has utility in the game itself. But for me, it was a really enjoyable game. My Nintendo year in review told me I played this game for around about 23 hours in total, and I did everything. So all the side quests and what have you, and the side quests are structured in the same way they are in Tears or Breath of the Wild. And a lot of the UI elements are brought over from Tears as well. So that is fun. But yeah, there's a huge amount of creativity in this game in terms of, because you can replicate any object. There's many different ways to get through the environmental puzzles and things like that. Yes, there is a way that the developers intended you to do, but in a similar way that you can, make anything in Tears of the Kingdom, you can solve puzzles in any way, shape, or form you want to in this game as well. And yeah, it's really enjoyable. So I highly recommend you check this out. I imagine it will go, well, it's a Nintendo title, so it might not go on sale. But I highly recommend you pick this up regardless. Yeah, I think this is a game that we've all had in our homes at some point, but may or may not have tried.
Correct.
Yes.
I have it in my home. I have not tried it.
Mm-hmm. And Moody, you tried this, did you?
Yeah, but I didn't finish it or even get halfway. I hit a part where I was just like, yeah, there's not much to it by the end of it. I was just, yeah. It was just...
Has Moody activated disco mode?
What do you mean?
I don't know. You flashing different colours.
Oh,
I think your monitor's going through different brightnesses. Yeah,
having an epileptic fit on my monitor. But no, it's yeah, the game's I got to a part where it was just like the new mechanics, like what they put in for Zelda, like were really canny. But then when they basically put in the mechanical way that she could wield the sword version of everything like that, it was just very much like I saw a tweet about a blue sky message on by someone saying like they took him out of the game, like that they brought in the mechanic of where she would take control of a sword and everything like that, because they wanted to just like use her new abilities to do the story full out.
Yeah,
and I think and that kind of landed in that area as well. I was just like, I don't want to do the sword thing. And I feel like it's kind of telling you have to at certain parts, and I was just like, nah, so I just returned it, and I was just like, nah, I'm good with it. I'm really so happy for people who like yourself and everyone else who enjoyed this game. So, fair play.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to take matters in your own hand and swing on people with a sword.
Yeah, they should have given her a gun.
This is true.
That.
Yeah, if there's no gun, jumping in the first person, jumping from the side to side, walls. Sucks me out of the game.
There you go.
She deserves it.
Their own. Yeah, but more experiences where Zelda's protagonist, please. And yeah, I can't wait for what Team Grezzo puts together next. Hopefully it'll be like an original title, but if it's not, then I would very much enjoy a remake of the Oracle of games, which Capcom developed back in the day on Game Boy Color. Yeah, in the same style as this.
I'll stand by like that. I think the art style is amazing. I love the art style they've set up for these games. It's what they used for which was the Link's Awakening, but also Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Like Pokemon fans didn't like those style for some weird reason, but I loved it. I was like, this is fantastic. Give me all of this. And
I will say the performance of this game is not great, and any lessons that they should have learned from Link's Awakening they have not done. And anytime you ride a horse in this game, and the horses are adorable, everything in this game is stinking cute, but yeah, anytime you ride a horse, the frame rate tanks like hard. But hopefully any future games will come out on whatever the Switch 2 happens to be, and hopefully they'll have a bit more horsepower under the hood.
Yeah, sadly, it's just it's the limitation of the times when it comes to the console. At the end of the day,
100%. It's an old system at this point, and it wasn't.
It was old when it released, mate. This is
that's
the
what
thing.
I'm saying. It wasn't breathing fire when it first came out. So yeah.
It's all a matter of perspective.
That's it. And now we come to what I think is the biggest surprise of the year. Is that this game was actually good.
Is it? Yeah, you're right. It was. Hey, everybody keeps telling me you want Bloober Team an apology. Like, no, I don't. Every criticism I have of Bloober Team pre-Silent Hill 2 is still stands.
Yep.
And every hesitation I had about them remaking Silent Hill 2 is still valid.
Yeah, it's still warranted.
Irregardless of the fact that they did knock it out of the park, and Silent Hill 2 is a very good remake of a classic game where they managed to pull off the impossible. Mostly by not changing a whole hell of a lot. But I mean, that was the right course of action for a Silent Hill 2 remake. I think the things that they did change, the expanded locations, I think work for the most part. Like I said when I reviewed the game, like my major sticking point with the game was that every like expanded location felt just a little bit too long, but like not overly so. It was like this one objective at the end. Maybe we could have trimmed the fat a little bit here, but like I had such a great time playing the whole game. The prison section, I hated it, and that's the vibe that's the experience that Silent Hill is aiming for. Like, it's not a fun horror game where you're like experiencing like all of these like emotions and fears and whatnot, like in a fun, safe way. This is meant to be a miserable experience.
You should recommend the therapist on the end.
Yeah, this is what psychological horror is. Like,
it's meant to be miserable.
It's meant to be a horrible experience, hence the name horror. But it's such a phenomenally well put together game. I think the performances are unbelievable. Like, some of the cast do such a great job. And yeah, like the combat got a bit towards the end, and I'm gonna be honest, there was that stealth section in the dark in the basement of one of the later levels, and I realized what the game was trying to get me to do, and I went nope, and I googled the code to the safe, and I got the key, and I left. I was like, I don't want to do that, thank you. Please tell me this code is not randomized. It's not randomized. Fantastic. We're out of here.
And then you got in your car and you drove away and left your wife behind.
Actually, I did, yes. But yeah, no, like it was a great time. Like, I had a great time playing it, and that's the main thing at the end of the day. Like, it's they did it. Like, hats off, fair play. Like, I don't apologize for how I was before it came out, but I am a big enough person to say, well done, you did it.
100%. It's always healthy to be wary about games before going in. And yeah, if the previous track record isn't stellar, then yeah, it's healthy to kind of shield your own emotions from torment going into it.
Ironic.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Like, yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it's a good game. I think they did a good remake. There's no doubt about it. But like what Amy said, like they kept it the same, which is what they should have at the end of the day. If they changed anything and it didn't work, Like, I would have been winning points on Fantasy Creator for that.
There's some themes in this game where they've tried to do those themes in their own previous works and done a really bad job.
Yeah. But no, it's it wasn't on a list for me or anything like that. But like, yeah, it's a good remake, and I agree with what you said, Amy, about no, why should we be giving them an apology? Their last games were crap and very offensive. So take cap off. They did a good job, but it's not just one game. They have to do this back to back to get it to really. I think it was to come back and say, yeah, you've turned it around, fantastic. Congratulations and everything for it, but it's a good start. And I am interested to see what they do next and everything, just because they took good care with a game that everybody was petrified that they were handling. This is the thing about it. Everyone was scared about it, and then when that first trailer revealed, and everyone was like, "Oh shit, this is bad, what the hell?" And they turned it around and everything, and like, even when the director came out and said, "Yo, trust us," nobody trusts you, dude.
I've played Blair Witch, I've seen the medium. I don't trust you.
I've played the medium. No, we do not trust you whatsoever. So it's congratulations to them, and congratulations to everybody. Like I'm more happy like for like Amy and everyone else who loves Silent Hill 2. So it's a good remake. They did a good job, and yeah.
Hell yeah! Now I'm gonna. How about some mood whiplash?
Yes.
Because next up is Super Mario Party Jamboree, which I've been playing on the download with Sadie. It's a fun game.
There you go.
I'm not just saying it because I've won both times that I've played it.
Amy,
So you've played the game twice, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's
fun
the
game.
game of the year.
But Amy, I thought you didn't like Super Mario bullshit. Super Mario Party bullshit
Only when
at
it
the end
goes
of
off
games.
my. Only when it goes out of my favor.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So what you're saying is that Sadie sucks at this game, so that means it's and because you can beat Sadie, you're like, hey.
No, she's really good at the game, but then the game rewards me at the end for being bad.
Yes.
Oh, so they've got the Vitz mechanic in there.
I'm terrible at this game, but yeah, like
They're giving me all the points.
it's just a lot of fun. It's Super Mario Party, right? It's like it's got all the different boards and like. Each board comes with its own like different mechanics. Like there's a shopping center board, which is like it's got lifts and escalators and like loads of multiple paths you can go through to try and get to the star. And it's like you got to try and like if I'm not going to get to that star, do I just go a different way and try and like
I hope,
try and like say like, well, if the star appears here, like you know what I mean, like, or do I just go for like this shop or this thing? And then there's the mini games, which are just a lot of fun. I finally this game is fine. I haven't had Joy-Cons for a very long time, and this game has finally like motivated me to actually buy some Joy-Cons.
Right at the death knell of
so
the
I
Switch,
can I can play the motion mini games. But yeah, no, it's a very fun game, and I think I'm going to be playing it a lot next year, as
Hell
well.
yeah.
So no, like it's great fun to play with friends.
Hopefully it'll be less expensive so more people can pick it up so we can all play together.
Yeah. And my last game that I played in, well, not last game I played in 2024, the last game I played on the previous spreadsheet, sorry, I got a itchy foot, was Diceomancer, which was just a spur of the moment, hey, this game's out now, do you want to buy it? And I went, sure, why not? It's a roguelike deck building, you know, like Slay the Spire type game with a very cutesy art style. It's very lovely, like presentation. The conceit is like the world is collapsing into chaos, and all you want to do is go fishing. And it's like I just want to get through and like go fishing in peace and safety, but I have to like fight all of these monsters on the way. And there's like different classes that have access to different like colored manners, which allow you to play different cards. But the main like twist on Diceomancer is you get a dice, the one dice, and you can use that dice to like alter numbers in the game. So if you've got like a D6 and your enemy's got 1,000 points of health, I'm just gonna roll this dice. 3. Okay, the enemy's got 3 health now, you know, like and like that's like one of the base level things. Like as you like get more and more upgrades as you go through like more and more permanent upgrades. It's like you can do more and more things with the dice, like upgrade it to be bigger dice, to roll more dice, to instead of like rolling one small dice to damage your enemy, it's like roll a lot of dice to give yourself more gold or to like permanently change the number on a card. So instead of something doing 2 damage, it does 20 damage. Like every time you use it, you know, that kind of thing. Like when I say you can change use the dice to change a number in the game, I mean any number. Anything that has a number on it can be changed, which I think is just a really fun, creative mechanic. Like, and it's a nice twist. Like, it's not overbearing. Like, I thought the dice was going to be like the one overriding mechanic of the game, but it's not. Like, there's been entire runs of the game where I've barely used it, and I've just relied on my decks. I'm really into playing the druid class, where it's like you summon like little creatures that like do different things like at the end of every turn, and it's like you can like if you just get into this rhythm of just like summoning like a dozen of them or more, it's like, you know what I mean, like any good deck builder, it's designed for you to break it, and you can break them in really fun ways, and it was a lot of fun to play. I haven't like I've finished runs, like I finished a good few runs, but like you can like obviously like every time you finish a run with a class, you can up the difficulty and it'll change something about the run. It's like I do kind of want to finish it in that regard, but I don't know if I will because I'm not that good at deck builders. So I think that I'll reach the wall and I'll just be like, I don't know how to get past this because I'm stuck at cards, card games. That's why I only played Balatro for like 5 hours this year.
Yeah, my partner's got really into Balatro over the past week or so. So yeah, we're living that life at the moment. To round off this section of the list of our favorite games of 2024, I dipped into a little title called Marvel Rivals a few weeks, and it is amazing. I am very much new to kind of the hero shooter Overwatch style gameplay, and I've only been playing against AI bots just to get myself up to like a competent level before I can go and play against real people and all the rest of it. But it's really, really cool. It helps that it's got the Marvel IP all over it, because I think that's a gateway for a lot of people to come in. And yeah, there's going to be analogs to certain heroes in Overwatch. I'm sure there are plentiful. I don't know of them. But yeah, my main at the moment is Jeff the Landshark, and they are all different kinds of adorable. And from what I understand, they are very much the supporter class, so very much focused on healing and as opposed to going out and sniping people. I tried to play as Black Widow, and while I was there, I was clicking heads. It wasn't doing the damage numbers that I expected, and I think that's just a mentality that I need to get over, and I need to get out the thinking of, oh, she's using a sniper rifle, therefore she should be killing everybody in one tap kind of thing. But no, it doesn't work like that. But yeah, this game is fun. The interactions between the different characters, like at the start of the match, they are really, really fun, and the voice acting is stellar in this game. And the way that the environments change as you play the various different rounds is really cool as well. I think the game modes that it does have, they need to necessarily, or they want to evolve this going forwards and add new modes rather than just kind of capture the area and hold the area, or kind of deliver the payload and to where it needs to go kind of thing. But yeah, as I said, this game is very much in its infancy. It had a huge boom earlier on this year when it entered open beta. It's now out and it's free to play, so I highly recommend you jump into Marvel Rivals.
Cool. Hit me up, maybe I will. When you want to play multiplayer. I might do. I played Overwatch for a long time.
It's as I said, like the holiday season is busy for a lot of people. I would like to get back into Marvel Rivals.
I might give it a shot if I'm playing with people. Like, I don't like to play these games by myself, so.
Oh yeah. No, so I've been playing with my partner, and they'll play a Squirrel Girl while I'm Jeff the Landshark, and yeah, it's been fun so far.
Squirrel Girl, great character. Right. Let me
yeah. Breaking news. Lauren has just finished a run of Balatro.
Woo! Welcome to the club, baby.
There you go. Amy says, "Welcome to the club. You did a run."
We can see the dance in the reflection of the window. So, yeah, don't Balatro. It's a great game. When you do that win, it's just like, it's great. And then I was like, I've reached my Balatro peak. I'm out. That was exactly how I played Balatro. I was like, I'm done.
And I went for the no more hands to deal.
Numbers scare me, so I feel I've maxed this game out. Sorry for that weird cut there. We're just having a little private discussion. Cool. So we're going to end the podcast with, obviously, OpenCritic Head-To-Head and Moody's Time to Shine. But first, we're going to talk about our favorite games that were new to us in 2024. So these are not 2024 games, but these are games that one or more of us had never played before this year. And these are more evenly spaced out than the last category, where I will not be talking for the grand majority of the middle section of this. I will, however, be starting with a game I played back in January that everybody recommended I play. I streamed this game, and I think you were there, Vitz, when I played it. A Short Hike, which was a very, very good 2-ish hour game. You just play a bird. You need to make a phone call but the reception's terrible. So you have to go to the top of the mountain, and it's just about getting to the top of the mountain and getting into shenanigans on the way there. And like, it's one of those games where you might look at it and go, "Oh, this is quite a slight experience, right?" But actually, there's a lot to it. Like, it's very dense. Like, it packs a lot into a very small runtime, mechanically and in terms of like feels. Like, it hits you in the feels when you get to the end of that game. I had a really good time with it. I appreciated the fact that I played it.
My one takeaway memory is that there was a marathon happening in the game, and you disrupted that marathon. That was my one takeaway. Yes,
I very much did disrupt that marathon.
Yeah.
But no, it's a really cool game. I believe it's available on Game Pass. It's also pretty cheap. And like I said, like,
yes,
I think I played it for about 2 hours. If I wanted to like 100% it, I think it would have probably just been another hour. So it's very, but I'm glad I see why people were putting it on the game of the year list. It's the year it came out now.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of game of the year.
I need exactly. So I decided to finally get on board and play Hades for the first time, and try and teach myself how to get good, for want for a better term. Yes, I've somehow managed to beat Elden Ring, but yeah, Hades is a game that's been lauded by so many people, so many of our friends, and jumping into it, and what a phenomenal experience it was. I am this close to finishing a run. I haven't gone back to it in some time, but I will do. So Zagreus and the kind of relationships that you have with the various different, with the Pantheon, and how that develops over time, and it changes in terms of the various different bits and pieces you build at your home base, and just getting through a run, and the kind of peaks and troughs of the story there, and some of the characters you'll meet along the way, and it will be different, and as is the way with roguelites. So yeah, I'm very much leaning towards the shield build at the moment. And I've got up to the final encounter, and I was so close to finishing. And then at that point, I was like, okay, I need to step away for a bit. But yeah, this game is amazing, and I'm looking forward to getting through this game, but then also hopefully Hades 2 will hit version 1.0
sweet summer child.
next year.
You think you think you're nearly finished. That's adorable. That's
it. Look, as soon as we get to the end, that's it. That's fine.
Sure. If you believe that that's the end, then more power to you.
I love this game, and I'm looking forward to playing more in 2025.
I think the game's going to have some things to say about that. That's all I'll say for now. I look forward to talking more about this game with you, like later, because, like, yes, I've done everything in this game, and it was incredible. But how about Amy's first Pokemon game?
Yeah.
Like, I beat Pokemon Violet in 2024. I finally sat down and forced myself to understand what a Pokemon game was. I know about all the all the type matchups. I know about all the different paths. I know about all the different Pokemon. I know about all the different frame rates.
There you go.
I finally did it. I care now.
You're the very best, like no one ever was.
I did all three of the paths. I did the true ending, like fucking beat all went in the crater, did the thing. I'm not buying the DLC. I can't subject my eyes to that game again. For as fun a time as I had, it's like I was getting headaches. Playing that game towards the end, but it was fantastic. Like, I get it now. I get Pokemon now.
And now we are in the same boat as we have completed one Pokemon, and there we go. That's it. I finished Pokemon Red back in 90. I think I beat it in 97, so I think it came out in 96, or it might not hit Europe until like 98. Yeah, that kind of thing. I played a Pokemon, I did it, and then I was like, you know what, I'm good.
It says I'm the best. There's nowhere to go.
We need more Pokemon from you, Vitz. We need you to at least try another one.
I tried Pokemon Diamond when it first came out, and then I played through that game, and then I got to the end, and it was like, okay, now you got to face Elite Four, and I was like, okay, it's the same damn game, and then I turned it off and got rid of it. That was it.
Not acceptable, sir. Not acceptable.
If it
Hey,
helps,
where was the lime, Udi?
Hmm?
Where was the lime? That Pokemon Diamond in that time frame that I played on DS, so it would have been what 2006, 2005 ish.
Yeah, give it to you.
In that time, the game all about evolution didn't evolve. It was the same damn game.
Yeah, but the story was far better than the bloody ones that before. But I won't lie, Diamond. Basically, the thing is about Diamond is that Platinum is the better version of it. It's the same with like Emerald. Emerald's the better version of like Ruby and Sapphire, and those are the ones really I would suggest for you to try and everything like that. So,
if it helps, Violet has
there's no doubt
3
about
different
it.
paths.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. They keep the same formula of get a Pokemon, go gyms, get 8 badges, go and beat the Elite Four type of thing. Yes, they keep that formula in all the time. They're never going to change that basically. But when it comes to like stories and everything like that, and expanding on like on lore and new mechanics that they throw in, that's what makes the games get better. I agree with you understandably when it comes to get 8 badges, go to Elite Four, bada bing, bada boom type of thing. I do agree with that.
Yeah. So in Pokemon Violet, that's the one where they have the Pokemon prison yard, right? Where you can let the creatures out for a while and they can just roam about.
The camp.
Or am I thinking of?
You're thinking
of Scarlet and Violet. You're thinking of Sword and Shield.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You can let them out and you play with them.
In Violet and Scarlet as well, I believe.
It's camping.
Sure.
Like, there's a ball,
You're
you
camping,
kick the ball around. Like, but I mean, I get where you're going with the metaphor, but I think this is a step too far. Let's talk about a game that wasn't new to me in 2024.
New to us. Yeah.
It was, yeah. You both put it down. So
Yeah, so for one of our many charity streams that we did for the wonderful team over at Special Effect, we played Halo Reach for the very first time. So we did this as a co-op stream, a co-op experience where all 3 of us were playing as, what were they called? Omega 6? Something 6?
Noble 6.
Noble 6, that's it. Yeah. And we did it, and we
saved Reach.
We did. We had to get Amy to activate and then carry us through latter parts of the game.
You didn't have
to. We wanted to get it done in one. The original plan was to get it done over a number of streams, but then Amy was like, we are relatively close. If we just switched on right now, then we'd be able to get it done.
If I just lean forward right now, like, we could get it done tonight.
And then, like, 3 seconds later, Amy comes back and says, right, I've stolen the tank, let's go.
She basically did. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Halo Reach is it's a fun game. There's no doubt about it. I had a lot of fun playing with you two, and I think that's why it's probably on the list for me, is because I played it with you. If I played it by myself, I'd be like, no, I'm out. Bye. But no, yeah, it's a fun game, and I also see why a lot of people scream out at saying it's a lot of people's favorite, and I think I do get that.
No, 100%. And then this was the very title that we used to find out who was the very best Halo player here on the podcast. And it turns out it wasn't Amy. We'll leave it like that.
Fucking told you all.
Well, it's because she didn't lean forward though.
That's true. I wasn't leaning forward.
That's what it was.
Look, we were 12 hours deep, man. We were 12 hours deep.
No, we weren't.
In the stream, yeah, with the match at the match
bit at the end,
the match part. But when it came to doing the time trial thing, that's what made him be the best.
No, my excuse for that part is I couldn't remember any of the buttons.
This is my excuse.
But yeah, that's cool. I played more than one Final Fantasy game this year.
Yeah.
I finished 7. Rebirth, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it again. Roll it back to the Super Nintendo era, and I played Final Fantasy VI, which a lot of people will tell you is the best one. And while it's definitely not my personal favorite one, like, I had a great time with it. Like, it's such a unique JRPG. Like,
so is this? Sorry to cut across you. Has this benefited from like a HD 2D remake?
It was the Pixel remaster. So
Remastered,
yeah, they
okay.
just remastered it. It's not like a 2D. It's not like a fully remade game. It is the same game, just remastered to be in
Okay,
high
so it's got
definition. The
Yeah.
menus are a lot slicker than I imagined they were on the Super Nintendo.
Mhm.
But like, it's got a huge cast of characters, which was a first for the series. Like, it ditched the job system. In favor of, like, you get the magic crystals. I can't remember what they're called, and like you learn characters learn spells with those equipped as they like level up and stuff. It was a very interesting combat system. Like, the story definitely suffered from the fact that it was a Super Nintendo game, and like there's only so much you can fit on a cartridge. Whereas, like, I think I would like to see them remake this as like a 2D HD game, not a fucking Kingdom Hearts nightmare experience. Like, just expand on each of the storylines a little bit, because there was a lot of really good story. I was shocked by like how good the writing was for the game. And like each character had their own storyline. Like the twist in the middle point of the game I already knew about, because it's like a 30-year-old game. Still shook me, where I was like, damn, like, like they really went for it with this game. Like, I can imagine playing this in the 90s when it came out, and just like it would have blown my mind all over the fucking ceiling.
Yeah.
Like, and I didn't have that experience in 2024, because I played a lot of games since it came out, but I can still appreciate what it was doing, and it was still actually a fantastic experience.
Hell yeah.
And all the women in this game are badasses. And again, it's like, damn, like,
It's what I'm
impressed. I am impressed by the fact that this is a 90s game that does that. So yeah. But Moody, you've been playing the game.
Yeah, I've been playing Judgment. Really funny story when I quickly go back over is of the part of like, I started with the sequel before I started with the first game of this game. All thanks to Amy of playing it through on Steam, and I absolutely fell in love with her playing it and seeing what everything was going on. And then I bought it, and I was like, yep. And it became one of my favorite games of the year without even finishing the game at that time. It was just an incredible experience. And yeah, and I just, because of the journey I've gone on this year when it comes to like, been disillusioned with new games in 2024, I thought I'd go back and play a couple of old games. And Judgment, especially ones that I haven't had a chance to get to, and Judgment came up on the pile, and I wanted to go back to that, especially as like my favorite game this year was Like a Dragon. It's same company and everything, same whole thing. Combat mechanics completely different, but I'm having a lot of fun with the game. Great characters. It's just an easy world to get to know too, and it's just like I'm like everyone knows, like I'm trying to slowly learn Japanese and everything like that, and I hope to sometime go there in the future, and like just being there is just like I'm in Japan. I just walk around. Sometimes I don't even do anything. I just walk around and everything, and it's just so much fun, and it's so enjoyable. And yeah, I'm just having a lot of fun with it. I'm at like I think just finished chapter 4. I think it was. I can't remember because I haven't been on for the last few days. But yeah, it's just a great game that I'm absolutely loving, and I can't wait to get further into it. And I think over the Christmas period.
Yeah,
hell yeah! And then there's been some exciting announcements this month as well about the future of that with new titles being announced. So that's awesome.
Yeah, we didn't get a sequel though. I was like, "Where's my Judgment 3, guys? Come on!"
Still coming. I still believe.
I think it's coming. Yeah, hopefully we'll hear something.
One of my jobs, one of my missions as a podcaster is to spread the good word about Judgment to as many people as I can. This game slaps.
It slaps.
There you go, dear listener. If you've been convinced by Amy to try Judgment,
fucking
do let us know
just
in the
try
comments.
it. It's so good. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. For my last game to talk about is Parasite Eve, which I finished this week, just gone. It's insane.
That's one word
It's
for
an
it, yeah.
insane game. Like I've played Parasite Eve 2 before, which is very much Square Enix trying to be like, Resident Evil's pretty popular. Well, if we do one of those, like the original game never came out in Europe, so I never got to play it. So now that I'm an adult with adult money, I decided to spend some of that adult money having the Parasite Eve experience, and I was not prepared. I thought, oh, it's going to be another We've Got Resident Evil at Home games. It's a turn-based RPG. The weapon upgrade system makes no damn sense. I had to replay the last chapter of the game because when I got to the final boss, I fucked myself over so badly that I was like, oh shit, I need to reload an old save. I'm not going to get through this. Second to last boss. And like, but it's nuts. Like, it's the sequel to a novel. I found out while I was playing it. And I'm like, this is this thing that everybody's referring to. All the characters in the game are referring back to this thing that happened in Japan. And I'm like, is there another game in this series that I haven't played? And then it was like, no, there's a novel I haven't read, which was written by the scenario writer for the game. And I was like, oh, cool, I might get this novel and see what the hell was going on there. Like, you get halfway through the game and it's like, so Eve wants to like give birth to the ultimate being. So chapter 4 is all about stopping her from getting some sperm. And I'm just like, this game's fucking crazy. It can't get any crazier. And then you go to the museum, and the boss fight in the museum is like the big T-Rex skeletons come to life, and now it breathes fire for some reason. And I'm like, I fucking love everything about this game. It's so dumb.
Ale as old as time.
It's like the game uses the rule of cool. It's like, is it cool? Is this the coolest possible thing that could be happening? And if not, we're gonna make it cool. And I fucking love it for that. Like, it's so crazy. I'm so glad that I played it. Like, Capcom? No. Square Enix. Re-release this game. Like, put it on modern systems. I will spread the good word about this game. It's great. It's such a good time with it. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say about it.
No, that's amazing.
Oh no, the sperm container is empty. Is a line of dialogue that is in this game.
Amazing stuff. And the last game we're going to talk about in our favorite games that are new to us in 2024. It was time for me to wake the fuck up, Samurai. I played Cyberpunk 2077 even. Not once did Keanu Reeves tell me to wake the fuck up, Samurai. I was very disappointed.
False advertising. You can sue them for that.
Yeah, this is it. This game is phenomenal. So I happened to pick up the Ultimate Edition, which had the Phantom Liberty expansion in it as well. There was a downloadable code, but it wasn't on the disc itself. But yeah, it came with it. And all in all, I played for 50 hours. I think 35 of those hours were in the main game, where I did naturally all of the main quest and a healthy amount of side stuff as well, and then jumping into Phantom Liberty. And this game, top to bottom, is phenomenal. There are a few systems in it which are, I think, falter in the way that the game is put together. Like, I know we've spoken about the driving on this podcast, but I think it's also a game which is trying to do so much in terms of being an open, living, breathing world. So there are certain concessions that you need to make with that. Having said that, the rest of the game is utterly phenomenal. The writing is brilliant, and I think this is Keanu Reeves' best role to date as Johnny Silverhand, across not only what's there in the base game, but what's there in Phantom Liberty as well. And as you're seeing from the promotional materials, Idris Elba is part of Phantom Liberty. And there's a really, really cool story as part of that. That does kind of work your way back into the main quest, and there are new endings based on what you can do. So I have to play the main game first all the way through to the end, and then what it does, like it does in most games, it will put you back before the start of the last mission that you'll do. So then you're free to go and do any side quest, or indeed go and do the DLC. And it gives you, in the DLC, it gives you a choice as to whether to follow the path of a certain character or a different one. And doing so ultimately means you betray the other, and it's a really interesting choice because there's no right answer. But you've just got to do what's right for and what's best for your V. What would your character do in that situation, kind of thing? What would you do? Because indeed you are role playing in this game.
Role playing in my games.
Yeah, that's it. And this game is phenomenal, and I highly recommend it to everyone. My V ended up with the one and only Judy, and we have a beautiful relationship.
Respect.
Yeah.
Cool. I look forward to playing this. Like, maybe it'll be on my list next year.
Absolutely.
Because I do want to give it a try. I'm feeling that.
There you go. That's an indie game. CD Projekt Red. They're not owned by anybody.
Indie game.
It's not all the force works, Vitz.
I don't know. I heard it both ways.
That's it. That's all the games.
Yep. We did it.
We did it. Go play all of them over the Christmas break and tell us which one was your favorite.
If you start now, you might get to the end of the year.
If you start now, you might finish Infinite Wealth by then.
That's a good one. Yeah. Probably.
But yeah, no, that's cool. So we're gonna move on after that actual celebration of video games with to talk about do a little OpenCritic Head-To-Head for the final time this year. This is the game we play every week where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of an upcoming game, or more than one sometimes. Whoever guesses closest to the score gets a point. If you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. Last week for our final guessing game thing, we guessed the OpenCritic average of Aliens Rogue Incursion Part 1. Did not know this was a Part 1.
Some of y'all went for the memes on this one.
Don't know what you're talking about. Vitz, you guessed it, we get a 78. Mooney, you guessed it, we get a 90. I guessed it, we get a 91. At the time of recording, Aliens Rogue Incursion Part 1 has an OpenCritic average of 78, which gives Vitz 2 points to close out the year. Strong, but not strong enough. The final standings for OpenCritic Head-To-Head 2024, we had 6 draws. Vitz, you finished in 3rd place with 30 points. I finished in 2nd place with 35 points. Moody won the game with a grand total of 48 points.
GG's.
Some say he won the game in like February.
Yeah.
Signed Amy, April 25th, 2024, the day before Alien Day. So it's fitting that our final game was an Alien game.
That is kind of fitting. Yeah, no doubt.
Congratulations.
Uh-huh.
You're a worthy champion.
There you go.
And because Hollow Knight didn't shadow drop during this week,
Yeah.
I think that's probably going to lock in your 3rd place as well.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. No,
Let him celebrate. Let him celebrate his OpenCritic. Don't bring him down with his fantasy critic.
But the legend still stands. You can only win one of these. You can't win them both.
That's my aim for next year. I want to win both. I want to break the legend. I want to destroy the prophecy.
It's been foretold.
Yeah.
No one person.
But Moody, hey, you won. You rocketed out in the
GGs.
first place, and you stayed there the entire year. Congratulations.
Yeah, my guesses were so good. Yeah. I don't know what to really say. I'm not gonna lie.
I would like to say that it was a close run race between me and Draws for a long while of this year, and then I started to activate.
Yeah, eventually you turned up, Fitz. About halfway through the year, you turned up. You thought, "Oh, I think I can catch Amy."
There you go. I understand how
I mean, your first 3 games were all double pointers, right?
Yeah.
But I need to check something here. When did your 4th game that you got right actually come out? Because it wasn't early.
No.
It was May. It was the 31st of May. So the 4th game that you got right was the 31st of May. That's when that game came out. For comparison, the 4th game that Moody got right was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And the 4th game that I got right was Berserk Boy. So we were in February. So you had a very you obviously had a strong second half of the year. You just need to replicate that.
Well, we'll try again next
year. Go
year.
for consistency.
I was consistently shit during the middle part of the year.
You were consistently terrible for the first half of 2024. But yeah, no. Congratulations. I look forward to playing this with you all again next year. But for now, for the final time in 2024, it's Moody's time to shine.
Hey everybody, today be proud you made it. Not only that, you made it to the end of the year. 2024 is behind you. It is, and what else is, you've got past another week. You were doing the absolute best. You were truly good enough. We all believe in you, and 2025 will believe in you as well. It's a brand new start, one step at a time, one day at a time, one dream at a time. Get out there, stand up, high five that sky, because you are enough. Unless you're America, you're fucked.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. Live long and prosper. Happy New Year, a Merry Christmas, and a Happy Holidays. All the best.